Hey everybody, thanks for joining me and welcome back to the channel. Our moving adventures continue and things are definitely getting real. As of this video, the house is a lot emptier and I find myself making frequent trips to Lowe's. I'm not sponsored, they just happen to be the closest reasonably priced hardware and outdoor center near the house. But you remember all those photos that you hung in your house, those things that you put on the walls that made your house a home? Or the things that also made your house a home, your animals like your husky puppy, scratching, using the crate to scratch the wall, or your kitties trying to use a door jamb as a claw scratcher. You got to clean all those things up and take care of those, obviously, when you're getting ready to sell. So that's what we're doing here. I'm not a professional, but let me repeat that. I'm not a professional, but I am familiar with filling scrapes and the residue from what hung on the wall. That process might take a couple of attempts, and that's okay. But what I found to be a little bit challenging was filling the wall and some of the crevices in the bathroom where the husky moved her crate. She scraped it up against the wall. This was a little bit more challenging because the wall has some texture. My best piece of advice, take your time, fill the spots, texture as you're able, let it dry, sand when you need to, and repeat that process as you need to. Only once you are happy with it are you good to do some paint matching and then get everything ready to paint. It did take me a couple of different tries. I filled, I sanded, I wasn't quite happy with it. I filled a little bit more, I sanded, and eventually I got it to a point where things were consistent enough so that I could then do the paint match and get everything taken care of. And here, real quick, it'll just show you what the end product looked like, and I actually was a lot happier with what it looked like after I went through it a couple times. But the premise of this video is to remind myself even, but to remember to share with everybody else that when you move, you're going to be making a lot of trips to the store. You're going to have to spend money in order to get the house or your space ready to move on or sell. And as of right now, that means making some minor repairs, doing some additional yard work, laying some mulch and things of that nature, doing some tree trimming. I am allowed to use the chainsaw with adult supervision, so we were able to trim the tree in the backyard. But on this particular visit, I was thinking about our front door, and it's really windy in the Rio Grande Valley. So yeah, that tree blows around and I constantly have stuff to clean up and trim out there, but I really needed to be able to touch up the front door and make it not look so wind torn. You see here at the top and on the sides, it doesn't look quite as bad. But here in a moment when we pan down, you're going to see a stark difference. Like the wind has done a real number on this front door. And it's time for me to try to get that cleaned up. The conditioner I used here, it's going to take some time to really try to work it in. You might need to do a couple of coats. I ended up having to do 2 or 3, but even just the first pass, just look at the difference it's going to make. So I wiped down, tried to clean off the door here, put this conditioner on it. For comparison, that's what it was. This is what we're working with now. Admittedly, this video was taken a few days later. This was after 3 separate coats, particularly on that lower side of the door. And there's the husky puppy, because who doesn't love that? Another project was some minor landscaping up front. I'm not really any good at this, but I gave it a go, and it ended up turning out pretty nice. Thanks for coming along for the ride and joining us for this adventure. But until next time, remember to live life outside of the work that you do.